There has been a rather strong earthquake in Northern California.
There is lots of structural damage now.
Good evening, I am Jim Williams reporting from WGN News. A strong earthquake.
On October 17, 1989, at precisely 5:04 p.m., the tranquility of Northern California was shattered by the Loma Prieta earthquake. This devastating seismic event had its epicenter in the Santa Cruz Mountains, approximately 10 miles northeast of Santa Cruz and 60 miles south of San Francisco. The epicenter was located on the San Andreas Fault, a major geological feature that stretches nearly 800 miles through California. The shaking lasted for about 15 seconds, but in that brief time, it left a path of destruction that forever changed the landscape and lives of thousands. The quake caused significant damage to infrastructure, most notably the collapse of the Cypress Street Viaduct in Oakland, where a double-deck section of the freeway buckled, trapping drivers in their cars. The Bay Bridge, a critical transportation link, also suffered severe damage when a section of the upper deck collapsed onto the lower deck, causing tragic loss of life and severe disruption to the daily commute. In San Francisco's Marina District, fires erupted amid the chaos as gas lines ruptured and buildings crumbled. Rescue teams worked tirelessly to reach those trapped under the debris, while residents banded together to help their neighbors in need. The resilience and determination of first responders and ordinary citizens alike shone through in the aftermath of the disaster. October 17, 1989. San Francisco is buzzing with excitement for Game 3 of the World Series between the hometown heroes, the San Francisco Giants, and their rivals, the Oakland Athletics. Candlestick Park is packed to capacity, with fans eagerly awaiting the start of the game.
Michaels, welcome to Game 3. It's been dominant Oakland pitching, of course, in the first two games. So Roger,
and he fails to get Dave Parker at second base, so the Oakland A's take.
I'll tell you what, we haven't heard.
A 6.9 magnitude earthquake shook the stadium. People panicked and ran onto the field, many unable to understand what was happening. Buildings shook, communication lines broke, and chaos reigned in the stands.
Hi again, everyone. I'm Charlie Steiner. Welcome back to the ESPN Sports Center. It's now 23 hours after the San Francisco earthquake of 1989. There will be no Game 3 of the World Series, at least not tonight. And
But all of a sudden everything started shaking and the blackout came and we all decided, we got a big earthquake, let's get out.
The Loma Prieta earthquake struck during rush hour, causing immediate chaos and confusion. Within minutes of the earthquake, authorities and rescue services began to implement pre-established emergency plans. One of the first steps was establishing coordination centers. Crisis management headquarters were set up in San Francisco, Oakland, and San Jose, bringing together local, state, and federal services. The Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, took a leading role, providing resources and specialists to support local rescue operations. Search and rescue teams, including canine units, were deployed to locate survivors in collapsed buildings and under debris. For the first 72 hours, rescuers worked around the clock to save as many people as possible. Medical facilities, including field hospitals, were set up to provide first aid to the injured. Temporary medical aid stations were organized near major disaster sites. Fire services were mobilized to extinguish fires caused by damaged gas pipelines and electrical lines. Both ground and aerial units were employed to combat the flames. Temporary camps and shelters were organized for those affected and left homeless. Tent cities were set up in parks and stadiums, providing people with shelter, food, and water. After the earthquake, state and federal authorities reviewed and strengthened building codes and regulations for seismically active areas. New standards were developed for constructing buildings and bridges to reduce the risk of damage in future earthquakes. The response of the authorities and rescue operations after the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake demonstrated the importance of coordination and rapid response in emergencies. Thanks to the efforts of rescuers and all involved services, many lives were saved, and recovery work began quickly. This tragic experience also served as a lesson for the future, promoting the development of more resilient and safer communities.